I'm gonna internalize it. There's no temporary research bonus. I don't know what it does, but I think it's probably worth getting, right? I think so. Can I quick save while in a conversation? No. That's all for now. Thank you. That's all for now. Yeah, let's leave for a second. Autosave. Empathy. What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate political opinions somewhere in Martinez. You must be mistaken. I'm a real radical. Well, that's me, Mr. Reasonable. Someone's got to keep it sane around here. That's because I keep saying none of the above to political stuff, isn't it? It's also about that, but it's also more. Perhaps it's the hangover, perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin, but something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. What the hell is the Kingdom of Conscience? It's not a place, it's a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times. Well, that's an honorable goal. It is, isn't it? History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. Dolores Day? I feel like I know that name. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment. But what about all the things that are wrong now? Well, okay, but what's the Kingdom of Conscience? No, what's it like now? Tut. How do you tusk? I don't know how to... Does anyone actually tusk? No one says it, right? No one actually tuts anymore, like... I've never done that in a situation. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. Very true. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Excuse me. Oh, your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What benevolence? Wait, is the Kingdom of Conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo? Do you believe in the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? But the status quo is bad! And it depends if the chaos and bloodshed is to bring down some cunts, you know? Like, extreme example, the status quo would have been allowing Hitler to win. It would have been allowing him to invade these places and not strike, right? But then again, apparently the moralists, which I assume this is, ended the revolution. I imagine they came in and shot a few people. So maybe keeping the status quo was killing Hitler. I don't know. Yes? There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress. What's it actually like? The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe. Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit today. The Kingdom of Conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual. What does that mean? I'm gonna Google what a moralist is, and examples of one. I don't think I like it. It's too boring. It's too, I don't have an opinion on anything. It's too fucking fence-sitting. And I don't want it. That seems fine. I still want to live for the present, though. But then again, that makes me feel like a dick, because a lot of people now aren't living for our future because climate change and all that shit, and they're just like, I ain't gonna bother. But fucking all this shit, you need opinions. It makes you human. I opt out. I don't want my character to become boring. What you want is immaterial. Whether the Kingdom of Conscience is coming, the Kingdom of Conscience is coming, whether you like it or not. Only very slowly. Well, I'd really like the time to pass. When are you going to sleep, buddy?
Back. Good.
But, yeah,
What
I
can
want...
help you with at this late hour?
It's night. Don't you ever sleep? Matter of fact, I don't. Why is that? I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though I'm old, you see. Old, huh? I think I have that too. No, you're not. You look young. Thank you. I do what I can to remain presentable. Now ask me some questions. It'll help us pass the night. I think I want to know more about reality. This is interesting, it really is. I quick saved, right? Probably. Ow, my face! Okay, conclude because I'm getting that right. There's no way. Come on, it's Spirit Decor. I can't fuck up Spirit Decor. It is 10:08, right? Yeah, that was like a few seconds ago. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Alas, that took way too many tries, being 42%. 6 kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbert takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner Emil Mullins whispers, "You heard what happened at Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yeah, lost his mind." Tilbert answers, finger on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls it slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. "We always do. What am I?" "You? You are an officer of the RCM," she says energetically. "The Revachol Citizens Militia." Precisemundo. Good. And what is the Revachol Citizens Militia? Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of the post-revolutionary Revachol detective. Yes. The lieutenant steps in, Yes, the lieutenant steps in to make a gesture encompassing you both. We are the Revachol Citizens Militia. He's being sarcastic. Are we? We are. You said de facto? Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilights of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. What do you mean? The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer, and Aliment Acts. 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, stasis to the benefit of the foreign capital. All 3 are good to know. The lieutenant looks up from his notes. When we're out policing. So I'm basically a lackey of a capital? No. So I'm basically one of the good guys. There's nothing basic about your role, detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. She leans in. Yet on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. Why? Post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. A gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the International Zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed, a true blue citizens initiative. She smiles. They will never forgive you. That's somewhat of an exaggeration. The lieutenant interjects. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. He coughs. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue. Yes, Lieutenant, permit me to conclude with this, who you are. To me, is the police, the only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. Well, thank you, man. And if the law officials of our nation need help with the basic terms of reality, well then, here I am to help. She bows. Is this just going to be the exact same? Yeah, it's the exact same. I don't need this. Hurry the fuck up. There we go. I want to know who you are. She won't maneuver her way out of this one. Say nothing. I'm the vilest of the vile, she says with a sudden flash of teeth. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra. Dios mio, draw across, a liberal! Cool. I liberate pretty hard myself. No, not like me. I am a nether creature of the forbidden swamp who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. Are you liberated enough to offer up your home on a plate for financial colonists? She looks you in the eye. No, I think not. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening? In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her. I forgive you. I do hope so, she bows. I do hope we're able to remain collegial despite it all. Tell me, when you're looking in the mirror, do you not see a monster staring back at you? Would you have done something differently? With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinaise a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinaise, and not in the Stella Maris or the Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, and for my daughters, we had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Asola down rather than let them have it. Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean. You're a smart woman. Perhaps. Her earrings chime as she nods. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing. You're no dummy yourself. No, or intellectual vanity will be my undoing. And the crown on your head as you lay in the casket. True, you're a patriot. Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here. Let me quickly give myself a boost in a skill, because I forgot we had it. I think I'm going to unlock another thought. Because I want the bow collector as well. Yeah, fuck it. There we go, bow collector. Also learn you, please. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Seditious talk, man. Kim puts it down his notes and gives her a look. You have daughters? Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. She closes her eyes, then opens them again. Now, shall we return to reality? What is this? Spread your hands. A bird? She tilts her head. Sphenicid. Flightless bird of the polar regions. I meant, what is this place here? Ah, she spreads her arms almost as wide. This is the pier of Rue de Saint Gislane 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two. She looks around. What is Rue de Saint Gislane 33A? A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see, and new buildings are called battlements, after les battlements nouveaux, but 33A and 33B are not nouveau. They're old. She looks up at the crumbling facade. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay and the delta. That was before the war, of course. Who lived in them? Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped off 4 or 5 stories. Splat! Splat! From a dilapidated balcony. Cindy the Skull gives Joyce the evil eye. A red paintbrush held to her throat. I have the paintbrush. What are you talking about? Wonderful. What is that? The girl in the old lady rags. No, I meant something basic about reality. No, yes. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common. The herd, the music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant. Those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture, with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid, and there is no refuge from the supraculture. Okay, now explain the same thing, but to a child. I understand everything, make it more complicated somehow. I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want, but capital has the ability to subsume all critiques unto itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. Very, very true. Damn, this is deep as hell. She pauses to take a long, leisurely sip of tea. All right. What's next? Suddenly you're not so sure you're a part of the supraculture. I think I may be a part of the infraculture. Her eyes go round with surprise. And what would that be? I don't know, I just feel it. Ah yes, that is what counts, I suppose. For my part, I was more of a new girl. The new, the cultural era. And the name of a decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of the post-revolutionary Revachol. It was ultra-liberal. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne coloured everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. She raises her eyebrow at you. Now what if I go with, no, I meant something about basic reality. Oh, yeah, oh, right, okay. I'd love to do this. And it ain't gonna be easy, is it? So I think I'll come back to that for later. You seem rich. Can I have some money? Actually, let's leave for a second. I just want to ask all the weird questions to throw her off. Give me some money, please. Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it? What? Why not? Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub. What lustrous hair. A well-kempt yet tastefully short bob of dark hair. Despite the first hints of grey, she's elected to keep it au naturel. Shaped into a permanent wave, late 40s style. While dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. Wealth, and all of its possibilities. These are the kind eyes of a rich man that seem to say, everything is possible. Within reason. Fuck you, logic. Yeah, so? Now look at you. You miserably clad simian. Barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A sight of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too... I'm a goddamn working man. I'm not ashamed to shake this leech for some dough. You think your little communism protects you from this feeling? No, the more demeaning it is to grovel at her feet. Oh god, the lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the force. Yeah, okay, that's not happening, huh? Volition. Okay, we can volition it up. Apparently I can do it with my pure willpower. Fuck you. How is it an instant... Oh, I want to know what comes out of my mouth, though. Surprisingly eloquent, really. The last one, not the first three. Those are ape speak. I am the scum of the earth. Why? Why do you say that? I'm gunk. That's garbage. You're a police officer. I'm the stuff people have under their fingernails. Let's talk about something else, please. Of course, she makes a slight bowing motion. Yes, bow down to the gunk. Hey, we got it. Okay, Jesus. Okay, what do we got here? Voila! You're doing it! You seem rich. Can I have some money, Mum? Why, yes, I am rich. How much do you need? Hopefully not too much. I couldn't bring all of it with me. She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. I would like 0.1 cents. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on? I need 130 real. That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large. She reaches into her raincoat and pulls out a zip bag. In it she... Oh, we did it! See paper notes arranged like black gills. 130 real! I'm a rich boy. She removes a few notes and hands them to you. Paper is cold and oily to the touch. The lieutenant breathes a sigh of relief. Good. We won't be needing to go to my kinema then. We won't. Whoa, did you see how easy it was? Ask her for more. Toot, train to Money Town. Nay, 'twould be dishonourable. And mine honour is my life. Should I? I also love that it was nay. No, I think that was fine. I don't want to piss her off. It would be dishonourable. Can you eat honour? Are you an honourvore? Did they just say... Oh, vor, as in, like carnivore, herbivore, not weird feeding porn. Fair enough, give me a break. So, she returns the zip bag to her jacket. I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. I may not be technically illegal under the... It may not technically be illegal under the Emergency Act, but still. I'm an honourable policeman. One of the few good men left in Rivershaw. Or I'm still getting my head around this whole money concept. You were just helping me out. You're right, ma'am. Donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they're properly logged with the precinct. I hope the Skull Girl wasn't watching, which he most certainly will do. She bows, and then raises a single eyebrow in your direction. Now, how else can I help with the RCM today? Fuck me. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries? Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do? What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent. So, what do they do? The Pines' core competency is logistics, container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. She points to the small dots on the horizon. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. Then to the east towards the harbour. And that is... What? Sorry. Then to the east toward the harbour. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil, and gas exploration. Offshore platforms. The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Ravisholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king. The Suzerain himself. Centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. She enjoys talking about the company. It would not hurt to inquire more. Okay. How much money does Wild Pines have? I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that in the last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. Wow! Okay, shit! That money I owed is so much... The money I owe is so much less than that. Let's say that, why not? Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary. But they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paychecks. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility. Well, where did they get all these billions? They started as an exploration and cargo fleet, conducting trade between the Samoan and Insular Indian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine's ships explored the South Seminese and charted the Lone Man Thang on behalf of the Suzerain. Or Suzerain, sorry. Suzerain sounds so much cooler. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. Well, it probably helps to start out with a royal monopoly. You know more than you let on. She takes a sip and looks over you afresh. Certainly, it helped. But most of the original Indo-tribes have failed or have been absorbed. To survive while... Fuck me, I'm so sorry, guys. I can't fucking read. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo-tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive there should be a comma there, that's what confused me. Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. What does such a huge system want with a place like this? You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners? She gives you a little smile. Who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? Wow, 8% of all cargo in the world. It's quite an endeavor indeed. Well, you don't keep it moving, the workers do. The company's nothing without them. Let's not fuck with her. 8% of all cargo in the world. That's quite an endeavor indeed. Oh, a thought, huh? She nods forcefully. Fuck me. Maybe she caused the earthquake. There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system breaks. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their job. The world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen. With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone. Okay. What can you tell me about this strike? Everything, she smiles. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. What if I want to hear trade secrets? First, you have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and Elements that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. An octopus? I will slay it! Good luck. It's only kept in place by the vested interests of half of the civilized world, including your own. What the madam means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government. You'd be shooting yourself in the foot. In other words, leave it alone. But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. What is your role in this precisely? I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer. And how are the talks going? They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2.2-metre racist behemoth blocking the gates. Oh, you mean Measurehead? Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. She leans back and rolls her eyes. How were the talks going before the lynching? Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when we first arrived. And when did you first arrive? I arrived 3 weeks ago, she thinks. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM. He looks at his notes, but the strike began in December. I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations. This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike. Heavens no, there have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. Well, that's a good thing. This time their demands are, I guess you could say, aggressive. Ludicrous, even, it's meant. Well, what are their demands? Or should I say something weird? What do you think of Everett? Everett Clare is a man of utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interest of the workers first. Really? Of course not. Everett is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. Yeah, that's Everett, all right. He is the most corrupt individual I've ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal and more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother Edgar. I remember hearing something about this Edgar. Have you seen him? No. Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. I need to pay attention to that. Oh fuck. He also talks exactly like Everett does. And when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits. You see, with a funny little switcheroo while in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. What about the union itself, outside of the Brothers Clare? The Debradeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect it. She adjusts her hair. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say... She hesitates, looking for the right expression. A mob. The lieutenant said... Why have I changed him into a Russian? I've lost... A mob. What was his voice, The lieutenant says succinctly. The Debradeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we're forced to cooperate with them. Refreshingly honest, officer. She nods. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everett and his brother. She turns to you. And your opinion, detective? If I may ask, I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. She explains. What would you say the Debradeurs Union is? But I'm being spied on! The union itself is a good thing. Where's the goddamn... None of these are good options. Because the union should exist. I don't know what their demands are. I haven't asked yet, which was stupid. I don't want to have no opinion because I'm not being a prick. I'm not being the moralist. I'm a douchebag thing. They're not an effective advocate for the rights of local working men because no one is working anymore because of them. The leaders are corrupt and they're making insane demands by the sounds of things. So I would say, bit of a leech, sucking the life out. Indeed, and a hungry one, she nods sadly. She nods. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers. Well, what are their demands? There are leaflets everywhere and banners. What did they say again? Oh, yes. Every worker a member of the board. Oh, yeah, that is insane, to be fair. Most of the workers probably don't know what that means. Seems like they have no idea about business, genuinely. In its defense, another said demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker a member of the board. Most of them probably doesn't know what that means. Probably don't know what that means. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time a Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the... Exactly, that's what I was talking about a few episodes ago. Each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of the Wild Pines group. That's pretty funny, I have to admit. They are having a blast, but how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption is they would prefer a more practical solution. What are you going to do? I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed I was just their opening position, but a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now people are getting lynched, I hear. I'm the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one. Excuse me. Fuck me, I did Russian again. Excuse me. The lieutenant looks up from his notes. From whom did you hear about this lynching? Her reply comes quick. I first heard of it from the boya at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said his name, it was, call me Manana. I don't know why that advertises aversion to work. I get Jess, I don't fucking know. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines group has more effective channels of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them. So she's lying to us. But I can't react to that. One more thing. You said something happened in the elections. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman. The previous forewoman of the union. She disappeared. Disappeared? Yes, on the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Eerie. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with them. Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine. What happened to this Gaumont? Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? She pauses to compose herself. A fuck-off midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Okay, then. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. Sounds like usual aggressive posturing. Yeah. The scabs at the gate. Did you put them there? The scabs? She raises her brow. You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock who came to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by the Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I cannot share it with you. Not right now, at least. It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion. Weird. That's all I need here. Let's change the topic. Tell me about this lynching. Quite a few things, I'm afraid. She falls silent for a moment, contemplating something. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask you for your names and badge numbers. Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. The lieutenant hands her a piece of blue plastic. I'm Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment, so I hope mine will suffice. Oh. And what happened to yours, Detective? She returns the lieutenant's badge and turns to you. Awkwardness washes over this conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events. Remember when my partner told you I had recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it. I see. She looks increasingly worried. So are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? It's possible. After a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life in the world. I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, this city, nothing. Oh dear. She sighs with compassion, sadness even. I suppose this does explain some more of the curious turns in our conversation. She must have been suspecting something for a while now. As I said, ma'am, as the lieutenant interjects, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM. Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything until I've seen that badge. Hang on, she's a professional negotiator. You should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. Please! Yes, okay. She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate. Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials. I will be frank with you. She puts down her thermal cup. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible. You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain. Like what? Reports from inside the Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. It's an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason. The company has tried looking into the matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or, she picks the cup back up, you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause. Detective. The lieutenant closes his notebook. A word in private before we continue. Excuse us for a moment, madam. Honorable One, you have accumulated a substantial amount of honor points on your life path. You are a man most virtuous. Wait, there were honor points? Of course there were honor points. Did you think no one was paying attention to your honorable deeds, Honorable One? I only try my best. That's the most any of us can do. Oh, the modesty. On this one. Another 10 honor points to you, sir. You're on the fast track to becoming one of the rarest, most revered of all police officers. An honor cop. Isn't honor sort of an archaic concept? Living in the name of virtue and doing noble deeds while expecting nothing in return is not archaic. How can you even think that? I'm clearly not honorable. A warrior code, you say? I do feel like a warrior. This whole thing is beginning to sound very... me. Oh, sorry, I didn't even read that. Selflessness forms the basis for the warrior code, an ageless code, as fit for nomadic Ilmaran tribes traversing the vast red plateau in Provincia Gurdi, as it is for your neighborhood postman. Well, yeah, warrior code. You are like the wandering night monk setting right the wrongs of the world you come upon. Are you ready to drink deep from the cup of honor? My honor is my life. Yes, your deeds have spoken for you, Honorable One, but to fully drape oneself in an eternal cloak of honor is a ritual must be completed, a rite of honor. Even among the honorable, only the most dignified are deemed worthy to. But you, oh Honorable One, have excelled in honor. Honor comes from deep within you, and to truly know oneself, to know one's honor, one must reach deep within oneself and touch one's honor. I do that every other night. You need to bring the thumb of your right hand, your sword hand, to your rectum, and stick it in there to form the Arch of Honors. What the fuck? What the fuck? All I ever wanted was to live with dignity, and to die with honor. Stick your thumb in your ass. No. What? I don't know. Just like that? Outside? What about people? People will be in awe, admiring a police officer most honorable in a sacred ritual of uttermost righteousness. You're crazy if you think I'm just going to stick a finger in my ass. No way! Most dishonorable are those who have known honor, carried honor in their hearts, and then disowned honor. They are the honor fallen. You've brought much shame on your family today. Your name will forever be tarnished by this most shameful of deeds. Be forever banished, shameful one. Did that seriously just happen? What the fuck? Did I lose my honor cop rating? It didn't even say discard thought. Well, I don't think I need to be honor cop, especially if it means sticking a finger up my arse in front of the woman who I need to make believe that I am a sane man. Wow, you work hard. I do? Oh yeah, you hustle. You're a real provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide. What hard work do I do exactly? Look at yourself, you're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way and you won't let it break you. You ride. I fucking ride till I die, bitch. That's just what it's like. Life and death. You got gills on your side, baby. Those black papers with the faces of innocents on them. You bring it in the Francong of the Solars. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in, day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop and a sprinter and a money printer. I mean, yeah, I did take a bribe from that Joyce woman. I guess I've made some gills, sure. Sure, and has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7. Ride or die. Now ask yourself, are you rich? No, I'm actually not. That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? I don't know. Why am I so poor? Because of the taxes. G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze. Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the gossip estate that is Revachol? I thought there were no taxes. You and I both. They got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you here. The gossip estate's a myth. In total, the coalition government is taking 98% of all your money. Are you sure? That seems like a pretty big number. What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed, can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples? Bleeding nipples are kind of a pain, but how will deregulation help with that? Opt in, but only a little. It's all about the tax issue, hustler. No other problem in the world is as pressing as top marginal tax rates. And don't you fucking forget it. Well, I got a free thought from that. Why can't I talk to you? What's going on?
Quite as I hoped it would, detective.
Lieutenant's voice is hushed. How did you hope it would go? Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchmen. Oh, so we're henchmen now. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we played straight into her hands. He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation. Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you. Company must have more ears on the ground. She could have known about my condition. I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's quick to adapt. She's a professional after all. What do you propose, that we don't investigate the drug trafficking? No, if there's reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, we could claim we're sliding in with the Union, or that we're on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is we ask her, then we investigate briefly. He adjusts his glasses, but do not share the outcome of the investigation with her. We tell her that it's done and demand her information on the lynching. Ooh, I like that. You're a smart boy. Could just, find my badge. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large. Your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence. You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months. I am sorry for putting us in this situation. I'll handle it. I'm sure you will, Detective. Let's get back to her then. Oh, don't I have another thing to... Oh no, I already did that.
Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about this alleged drug trafficking. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samara and Azola into Revachol with the Union's blessing, while Pines has suspected it for years. Ingredients for what, ma'am? Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to just say what you can't make from the stuff. Let me get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Revachol through the terminal? Yes, and after they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around the Jamrock Quarter, north of here. White Pines seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, man. Do you mean to say that the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean. We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no, as far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. And you want us to investigate. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrod and the dock workers. Union. Still, she raises her bony finger. Every chain has a weak link. The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout. The lorries. Precisely. Someone needs to move those ingredients from... Oh yeah, that's actually right. I'm happy to bring this down. I already know about this. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbor into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp, but in transit, they are vulnerable. How convenient that they're stranded like a beached whales at that roundabout. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. I know which one it is as well. It's the racist boys. I've already done this. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. Why have I given her that voice? Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. She gives you a knowing look. I'll be explicit. Find this driver. I'll share my company secrets with you. Well, we already know who he is. Uncovering Union secrets would give you an upper hand when dealing with them. Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier? We did, on more than one occasion. Apparently there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under. We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence. Well, she smiles and points towards the roundabout. Here's your chance, officers. It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded like that, is it? No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, she pauses looking to the sea, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the trade committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. She looks north. Thousands of liters of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east, across the river, but the west, the vulnerable, the weary. Well, at least this solves one mystery. What is that, Lieutenant? Why I had to call East Motor Tract and beg them to open the drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in on my motor carriage. I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kitsuragi, but we needed them trapped there. It's a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand. Okay. We already have some suspicions that one of the drivers was present at the lynching. The two might even be connected. Useful! Or not. Though if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it. As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant. Once the job is done, you bitch! What proof do you have the Union's involved? How do you think they're financing this strike, huh? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight. There was a shakedown of many local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it. With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. So you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs? Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate. Most likely then loaded onto lorries and driven to Shamrock. You simply need to find one driver who'll open up to you. It sounds like she tried looking into it herself. She's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in. True. Okay, I've made up my mind about the smuggling investigation. Yes? We will take this case, probe the drivers, see what it yields. Excellent. She takes a long sip of tea. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. Really, 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 really hope it isn't the one with the family. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if I can be of any assistance. She takes another long sip from her seemingly bottomless thermal cup. By the way, I talked to Everard Clare. You have? She smiles carefully. And how did you like Mr. Clare? He's a beautiful man. Beautiful and just. He's not the champion I've chosen. I wish to swear fealty to you and the cause of the capital. No, I didn't. Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power after all these years? Oh, wait. Actually, she answers her own question. Corruption! That's how he's done it. Fantastic. Worm-like corruption reaching into the bowels of the earth. She looks at the ground and nods. The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides. Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything with me. Share anything he told you with me. I am not a corrupt worm myself. She turns to you. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be... She smiles. Gossiping. Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to see what she has to say about these things. Yes, your disgusting tie agrees completely. Let's gossip! That money you gave me. Would that make things weird if I shared information, I mean? Or Mr. Everard is helping me find my gun. I helped him turn up the heat on the borscht. Why did I do that? Mr. Everard's helping me find my gun. Oh, her eyes become large and round. That's so helpful of him. The lieutenant looks at you and you could swear his jaw muscle is trembling. When I said be wacky, I didn't mean wildly and grossly irresponsible. I didn't mean wildly, grossly, irresponsibly and damaging to the RCM. Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. And they go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting. Incredible! She shakes her head. Simply incredible. And how's it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? No. Well, maybe he's not helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else? You know what? I don't want this. Of course, detective. She simmers down. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to stop by for a chat. Really shouldn't have told her that, huh? Oh, well, it didn't seem to cause any problems. Guys, that is where I am going to leave it for now. And in the next one, the first thing I plan to do, because I'm very, 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 very scared that the drawbridge is going to come down, is we are going to break into the back of that lorry. Now, I really hope you guys are enjoying as much as I am. This is one of the most interesting games I have ever played. Perhaps, I mean, it's definitely of this year, definitely on the channel. It's so very interesting, isn't it? I love it, I love it, I love it. It's so unique, like nothing I've ever really played before. And has enough existential dread to satisfy my morbid curiosity. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, share, comment, all that amazing stuff. It really does help out both me and the channel. And I will see you in the next one. But for now, this Strike signing off. Goodbye!